What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is John and you're watching Old Stuff is Cool. This is the back to school edition here in the Boston area. School has started up for the younglings. Summer is winding down, but still, still very much kicking around. And maybe because it's the last days of summer, I was inspired to do some back issue bin hunting in my local comic book stores. You'll see a number of different runs of titles that I've been collecting, some I've mentioned in past videos. But before we get into the haul, if you could do me a favor and smash that like button if you enjoy videos about comic books. And if you haven't done so already, please consider becoming a subscriber to the channel and don't miss out on any new videos. And if you want some bonus content or want to reach out and chat about comic books, you can also find me on Instagram as Old Stuff is Cool. Same name as the channel, same weird spelling. So I think these are in some semblance of an order, but it's always a good thing to start off with some Jim Lee. This first batch of books comes from my local comic book store, the one that I have a subscription to with new books coming out week to week. It's also the store that I do some work with part-time, and that is Kamikaze over in Somerville, Mass. So as I've said, start with Jim Lee is a good thing, and we are looking at X Factor 62. I might be convinced at some point this year, maybe next year, to just go for full-on run of the whole series, because it's very doable. But in the meantime, there are certain ones I want to focus in on. I started off just with key issues of first appearance of Apocalypse, first appearance of Archangel. Jim Lee is one of my favorite artists, so I did want to grab this cover. He does not do the interior pages, unfortunately, but this is part of the Extinction Agenda crossover amongst all the X books, and that's our boy Havoc all strung up there. Also, if you can hear the dog barking obnoxiously outside, I do apologize. Moving on, we've got 2 issues of Captain America, Cap 346 and Cap 309. And I'm slowly but surely picking up all the issues of the Mark Gruenwald run. We're still doing that. I've debated, whether I really should transition into a just collected edition, but they're fairly inexpensive, and I quite enjoy collecting Captain America. So next we have some newer books. This is an example of one of 2 titles that I was reading regularly, really enjoyed, but I think at the point where I had my first kiddo, I wanted to switch fully digitally, or predominantly digitally, and I stopped collecting Avengers during Jonathan Hickman's run. So I just have in the back of my head and in a wish list on my CLZ app issues of the latter. It's either like the latter half or latter. It might be like a little over half, maybe 60% of the run I'm missing. But I want to get a bunch of Avengers issues, and this is it covers a couple different crossovers that eventually culminate with Secret Wars. So if you're a big Jonathan Hickman fan, of his Marvel work rather, Secret Wars really is kind of where everything comes together between his run of Fantastic Four and Avengers, and even some other titles included in that. So just to go fairly quickly, Avengers number 32. There we have I think that's Hyperion, part of the original Sin crossover, which wasn't bad. Then we have issue 38, and you can see time runs out. That is the storyline which eventually leads into Secret Wars, and there's a bunch of issues. It's a countdown to the end of the series. And issue 39, there's some nice Alan Davis work art there, featuring various multiversal versions of the Avengers. We've got issue number 40, a great cover featuring Thanos, and him and the Black Order were running roughshod during this storyline. And then we have issue 44 over here. We got Tony Stark prominently featured. So nothing too crazy from that pickup. Those are all from Kamikaze. But I mentioned Avengers was one of 2 titles. The other title is the sibling title, also by Jonathan Hickman, New Avengers. So I have a bunch of issues I need to keep an eye out. Anyway, the second half, or this is actually a much bigger chunk. The second part of my haul today is from Magic Dragon Comics, And I mentioned them before where they have back issues where it's 4 for $10, and I got quite the haul here. First, the most recent of the titles. This one actually brings me up to date with Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu. I decided to go back and get all the remaining floppy issues I needed, and I needed issue number 4 here and issue 5. A little glare there. Issue 5, and this kind of overlaps, crosses over with the Blood Hunt storyline. Jed McKay, fantastic job on the title. He did a great job penning that storyline, Blood Hunt. I've heard people have mixed opinions on that. I thought it was a really fun crossover. Then we have issue number 1 of X-Men vs. Avengers. And I'm just missing issue 4, I want to say. A few of the crossovers, like Fantastic Four versus X-Men, like Alpha Flight and X-Men, like I've been picking those up as I see them. The rest of the books, the rest of this stack here, it's all Fantastic Four. It's actually the John Byrne Fantastic Four run that I've been collecting a little bit here and there. I had a bunch of issues prior, but after we check in with this pile, I think all that's left are 5 or 6 issues of the run, and I'll be done. And I have to say, really enjoy John Byrne's writing, really enjoy his art. No really key issues here, but maybe some covers you might recognize. So first up is issue number 236, a great group shot of allies. I was like allies and villains. No villains here, just allies of the Fantastic Four. So great group shot. And with issue 248, and apologies, I haven't read all, the whole run before. I've read some of these, but for the most part, it's been collecting, and I'm gonna go back and read them sequentially, which is probably the way to do it. Issue number 253, some scroll action here. Issue 264, and that's a great homage to the issue number 1's cover. I believe that's Giganto, and I think I only know his name because of Marvel Snap, the digital card game. Then we've got another giant monster cover, which I was also missing, issue 271. Then we have one of the earliest negative space covers here with issue 276, very cool black and white cover. This one, I think, kind of made the rounds of popularity a few months ago, or earlier this year. Issue 280, the introduction of Malice, and in particular, the Invisible Woman version of Malice. Actually, Invisible Girl is actually after, through this whole little storyline, that she updated her name to be Invisible Woman. But Malice, those of you who play Marvel Rivals, you might be a fan of that. Next up, we've got issue 282. I remember seeing this cover, I think, as one of the John Byrne Visionary trade paperback covers, that there's like multiple volumes, because we've got quite a number of issues collected. And then a really funky cover, and this could be the one for the thumbnail, or maybe not, I don't know. We've got this issue number 292, featuring Adolf Hitler over here. A cover that's sure to turn some heads, and it might be a strange aside here, but I know with characters like the Red Skull, with his appearance in Captain America: The First Avenger and the MCU in general, they really separated him. I mean, he has ties to the, obviously to the Nazis, but they very much, in current modern day media, including the comics, Red Skull's very much more Hydra. He split off from the Nazis and it's Hydra. But I do think it's funny. It's a little bit of hand wave is not the right term, but I do think it's some self-censorship that I don't exactly know how to feel, because with movies like Indiana Jones, such an easy villain to have are the Nazis, for good reason, obviously. But nowadays, I feel like, there might be a danger in where everything's suppressed. I mean, you can't show the symbol. I know, you know, there's things like YouTube where there's a lot of censorship. I'm not sure if anything I'm saying in this video is gonna get this demonetized or like suppressed. I don't really care. This is all for fun anyway. But basically, where any mention or iconography is just scrubbed entirely. Sorry, I didn't look up the exact quote, but those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Again, as part of this aside, like where there are banning of books and just where history, people just want to whitewash it and make it all clean. I don't think we can learn anything as, you know, as a country, as a people, as just humanity. We're not going to progress. We're not going to move forward. We're not going to improve or be better if that's the method we're going to go with. Apologies, I'll get off the soapbox now. But that is the good chunk of Fantastic Four that I got. I also haven't talked about the Fantastic Four movie. As a bigger Fantastic Four fan than Superman, I absolutely enjoyed and loved the film. I would give it a personal, and I'm pretty generous with my movie grades, but you know, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I also would revise my Superman rating from, I think I originally said 4 stars, either here or on Instagram. I would revise it to be like a 3.5 out of 5. Still very enjoyable, but I thought the character beats were great. The portrayals, the casting was solid. I loved the appearance of Galactus. Not to say that I don't have any quibbles, but they're all very like minor, nitpicky things. I don't know folks who are just waiting for it to stream, so I don't want to give away too much, but definitely worth your time to check out, even if you wouldn't consider yourself a Fantastic Four fan. But that's gonna do it for the haul. Did you have a favorite book in these pickups? Have you completed any comic runs over the summer? Let me know either way in the comments below. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today and hope to catch you in the next one. Happy collecting, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.